I like the dark. It's friendly.
Well, hello and welcome back to my channel Box Office Poison. My name is Moxie McMurder, and before we get into the video, I'd just like to say a quick thank you to John Cleveland, Veronica, Paul Simpson, and Michael Orlando Iacarino. If you'd like to support my channel, check out the links to my Patreon and Ko-Fi in the description box below. And now, on to the film. So this is a bit of an unexpected video. I was feeling a little bit lost in terms of what film to cover next, and then I saw Blink Twice, and it stayed in my mind for a few days. Blink Twice is a strong directorial debut from Zoe Kravitz, and solid performances from the whole cast. But that's not why it stuck in my head. I'm not going to get into the plot of the film, but if you haven't seen it, Blink Twice is a psychological thriller about a waitress who accepts an invitation to a billionaire's island, and she's having a great time, until she isn't. Her friend goes missing, and suddenly things are not what they appear to be. It stars Channing Tatum, Naomi Ackie, Alia Shawkat, Christian Slater, and Geena Davis. Honestly, the cast is stacked. This video contains some spoilers, so proceed at your own risk. Aside from a few nitpicks, I actually really enjoyed Blink Twice, but it was the very intentional use of colour that made an impact on me. When you watch a film, you have to remember that if it's in the frame, it's intentional, for the most part. And because it's intentional, you should pay attention to it. And the colour in this film is so eye-catching that you can't help but theorise on what it all means. So let's dive into that, with the full knowledge that I don't know any of this is fact, and it's just my personal interpretation. And therefore, I can be wrong. So let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my thoughts. At the start of the film, Frida offers her friend a choice of two dresses, red or blue. And you can't help but think of The Matrix.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Which is pretty apt considering our protagonist is wearing the red dress. Red shows up a lot in the film. The tables at the event Frida is waitressing are red, the flowers on the island are red, the gift bags, Frida's dress, the main house, it's everywhere. And I think it's meant to represent danger, which is a pretty obvious reading, right? But I think we can add corruption and power to that colour too. The yellow pythons that are native to the island play a big role in the film. We see people killing these snakes, and as it turns out, the housekeeper is harvesting the snake's venom, which I just want to point out is some creative license because pythons are not venomous. Anyway, the housekeeper tricks Frida into drinking this venom, and suddenly Frida starts to remember things. So for me, I think that yellow, which is present throughout the film, in fact the Polaroid camera is yellow, which is a nice touch if indeed yellow represents memory and truth, like I think it does. The women on the island are all dressed in the same white outfits, and that's clearly a commentary on how the men on this island don't see them as complex individual women. They're all the same. And specifically, I was drawn to the white evening dresses that the women wear. I was surprised when I realised these dresses seem to have been designed for the horrible things done to these women on the island. They have lots of long white fabric, which I interpreted as a blank slate, wiped clean every day. So white to me represents erasure. I found an interview with costume designer Kirsten Hargroder on Cultured magazine. She said, "We needed a dress that looked pretty and elegant and resort-ish, but it had to be used as a means of torture. That's hard to do, right? So how do you make something that could tie someone up also look elegant? I think they did an excellent job, in my humble opinion. In Harper's Bazaar, she also said, getting the dresses right was tricky because they needed to serve all these purposes. They needed to flow and look aspirational and pretty and feminine, but they were also a form of torture. The dress bow in the back has these long flowing pieces of fabric that are also used to tie up the women. It's not overtly obvious when you're watching that the dress is a form of torture, but still looks like a pretty dress. I heard that the cast burned one of the dresses when the film had wrapped, so I looked into that, and Hargroder again is mentioned, saying, "The women hated the dresses so much that when we wrapped production they burned one of them in Mexico." Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but they definitely didn't want to steal those dresses, because they were used in these highly emotionally charged scenes. They were difficult to produce and became the bane of our existence. The last colour I want to talk about is blue, which can often represent calm and relaxation, or sadness, water, sky, but in Blink Twice, I wonder if it represents reality in some way, which I know kind of goes against the red pill, blue pill analogy, but I have to wonder, because, for example, the blue face masks appear in the film as Frida realises that Jess has gone missing. Jess is wearing a blue dress at the start of the film, and Jess is the first one of the women to realise something is amiss on the island. But honestly, that's kind of all I've got for blue. So what do you think the blue represents, if anything? So, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Have you seen Blink Twice? Did you like it? Like I said, I've got some quibbles, particularly about the ending, but overall I enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any theories about the use of colour in this film in the comments below. Have a great day, water your plants, and stay spooky.
I'm going to give the people what they want. Sensation, horror, shock. Send them out in the streets to tell their friends how wonderful it is to be scared to death.